Hello everybody. Today I will be reviewing Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Genesis. And yes, this is going to be a much higher edited video, so enjoy the higher production values. So, first things first, this game is considered a classic. It's on the Sega Genesis. It's on everything at this point. It's on Sega Genesis, obviously, because that's what it first came out on. But it's also on, like, they have versions on the PS2, on the GameCube. They have the crappy Game Boy Advance version, which oddly enough is actually the version I grew up with, but not the version I'll be reviewing. They have it on Xbox 360 and on PS3. You can even play it in Sonic Generations. They have it on pretty much everything at this point. But the version I'm going to be reviewing is on the 3DS, which is where I'll be reviewing the 3DS version on the part of the Sonic 3D Classics collection. So enjoy. For those of you who don't know about Sonic, which means you've probably been living under a rock for the last 20 years, he was that signature 90s dude with a tube. He's a fast hedgehog. He was meant to show off the speed of the Sega Genesis, because the Sega Genesis was much underpowered compared to the Super Nintendo. But the one spec they had that was actually better, the one thing that was better than the Super Nintendo was its speed. So they thought, why not show our speed off? So Sonic the Hedgehog was born. And also, so Sega needed a mascot. They wanted something fast, so they made a fast hedgehog. Honestly, it seemed like a bunny would have made more sense considering bunnies are fast, but hedgehogs are cool too, I guess. So pretty much, this is a platforming game where you have to go really, really fast. There's lots of platforming and lots of speed, and I feel like this first game did a really good job balancing platforming and speed, which something later games in the series really lost. Later games in the series are either highly platforming like Sonic Heroes, or just entirely speed like Sonic Generations, or at least the daytime section of Sonic Generations. Not Sonic Generations, Sonic Unleashed. Sorry, I'm out of it today. But yeah, so there's platforming. It's a good balance of platforming and speed. But there are some levels I feel like have much more platform than there is speed. Like Green Hill is a good example of perfect balance. But then there's places like Marble Zone, where there seems to be a little bit of speed, but mostly as platforming. So not all the zones are balanced right, but some of them are. But a lot of them are. And one problem I do have with this game is that there isn't a big challenge. Like, this is not a hard game. I beat it really quickly. And again, depending on the version you have, you may be able to use save states and stuff, which I did do. But if you played on the original Sega Genesis on the cartridge, you're not going to be able to do that. Also, if you play the original version, you're not going to be able to spin dash, because that didn't come until Sonic 2. But if you play on the Sega 3D Classics collection, you can spin dash. That's a feature they added just for that, which was the only feature they added for that. You can also spin dash on the Game Boy Advance version, but if you're gonna buy this game, don't get that version. That's the worst version you could possibly buy. But this game is really good looking. So while not all the levels are balanced well, maybe pretty easy, there are some good things about this game. A lot of really good things anyway. One is, again, the graphics are great. Now, they're not as good as they were in future Sonic games on the Genesis, but for the time, they were really great. And all the sprites look really good. The story is kind of bare bones. It's essentially Eggman kidnaps, or Robotnik, because he was known then, kidnaps animals, Sonic must save them. But also, if you beat the game, you don't really beat the game once you're finished. You still have to get all the 6 Chaos Emeralds. Back then there were 6, now there's 7. To do that, you need to get 50 rings in each stage, or not each stage, but if you get 50 rings in a stage, then at the end you get to a ring you can jump through. That'll take you to a special stage where you can get a Chaos Emerald. Those can be decently challenging, especially later on in the game. So that's where a lot of the challenge comes from. The challenge isn't from beating the level; it's getting the Chaos Emeralds. I beat the game with only 4 of the 6 Chaos Emeralds, and I didn't bother getting the other 2 because I felt accomplished enough beating the game as it was. But not everyone's gonna think that way, and some people are gonna want to do it. And there is some more game time added if you do that. So again, the game isn't too hard or long, but it does add length and difficulty if you do want to go after the Chaos Emeralds. Also, while the story's pretty bare bones and the graphics are good, the soundtrack's also great. One thing I really noticed about Sonic is that most of his games have pretty awesome soundtracks, except for like Sonic Boom and Sonic Chronicles. Every other game I could think of has a pretty great soundtrack. Sonic has always been known for his great soundtracks, whether it's the classic Genesis games or the vocal tracks of the Dreamcast era, or the orchestral music of the modern era. Sonic's always had some pretty rockin' tunes. I can't believe I just said that. Someone shoot me. But anyway, again, some great music. So, in the end, I feel like there isn't much really bad with this game. Sure, it's too easy and a little bit short, and it isn't quite as like polished as the other games. Like again, no spin dash, and like just little stuff like that. And the levels aren't as balanced as they are in the other games when it comes to like balancing speed and platforming. Whereas in like the Sonic 2 and 3, they seem to balance it better. I mean, the graphics aren't as good. Essentially, this is a great game that it's probably the worst of the Genesis games, worst of the Sonic Genesis games, but it's still a great game that I highly recommend. So if you haven't played this game, I don't know what's wrong with you, but in the off chance that you haven't, pick it up. You'll love it. It's really fast. There's a great platforming, and it's all around a great game that I recommend to nearly everybody. And the one complaint about this game I have heard is that you try to go fast, but then there's like an enemy that'll get in the way. And honestly, I don't really see the complaint. Like I understand why people say it, but you're not supposed to go fast all the time. The goal of the game is to platform well, and then when you're good platforming, you're rewarded with speed. So speed is the reward for good platforming. I've heard a YouTuber say that. I don't remember who it was. If any of you know, comment. But yes, speed is a reward for good platforming. This is especially noticeable in Green Hill, where if you don't do very much platforming, you're just gonna go into a straight line. And if you do pretty much no platforming, you're gonna go like on a lower path. And if you do a lot of platforming, you're gonna go to a higher path. And the higher path is pretty much pure speed. Lower path, there's a lot of platforming. It's harder. So the game revolves around, especially in Green Hill, doing good platforming until you get to the top path, and then speeding your way through while collecting as many rooms as possible to get the Chaos Emerald. The gameplay, graphics, music, everything is great. It created a classic character. Overall, this is a game that shouldn't be missed. So yes, while it's not, I would give this game an A+ if it weren't for the fact that Sonic 2 and 3 are out and they're more polished versions and they're more polished games. So that kind of does degrade like what I think about this game. It's I don't really can't think of an example, but like Arkham Asylum to Arkham City. Arkham Asylum was amazing, and then Arkham City came along and just kind of makes that game like less than. I still honestly think Arkham Asylum is better than Arkham City, but that's it's just an example where this is one of those games where it was great, and the sequels come along and are slightly better, so that makes this game like not as special, but it's still a great game. So honestly, I have to give this game an A-. There are flaws, but this is one of Sonic's best outings, and this is a game I urge you to pick up. And you can play it on pretty much anything. You can download it on your phone. You can emulate it if you were into that. I wouldn't suggest you do that, but if you really want to, you can play it. There's different collections on the Xbox, on the PS3, on the GameCube, you can get it on the Wii Virtual Console. You can get it on everything. So chances are, if you play video games, you probably have a system that can play this game, unless you only play like the Atari or something for some reason. So again, this game is an A-, and I think this is a game you need to pick up.